Welcome back to the Kris versus Everybody show. This is the show where I talk about anything and everything unedited, uncensored. I just want to start off the show with a illustration that is actually very alarming. Very alarming. In 2024, there were only two out of 50 that voted unanimously for one side or the other. Now, let's go through the history books. In 2024, the presidential race was between Democratic nominee Kamala Harris and Republican nominee Donald Trump. Democrats, of course, are blue. Republicans are red. Oklahoma, obviously, is the red one because I don't know of any blue people in Oklahoma other than Texas or Tulsa, I would say, the city of Tulsa. Outside of that, it's a lot of white people, a lot of white people in Oklahoma. And they all voted unanimously for Donald Trump. Let's go across the country to the small state, very influential state of Massachusetts, who unanimously voted for Kamala Harris, a blue state. There were no red districts in Massachusetts. In Oklahoma, there were no blue districts. Now, let's compare. In Oklahoma, they are now, mind you, there are 50 states in the United States. Just so you know, as I go on through these comparisons, there are 50 states. Oklahoma is 44th out of 50 when it comes to education, 49th out of 50 when it comes to healthcare, 44th when it comes to quality of life, 50th in test scores, and it is within the top 10 states that have the worst poverty in America. That is Oklahoma. Now, on the flip side, you have Massachusetts, which is first in education, second in healthcare, first in quality of life, first in test scores, and in the top 10 least impoverished states. Now, I'm saying this because it's a unanimous vote. Unanimous really doesn't there's no room for error. There's definitely correlation and causation. Okay. It is a 99.99999% observation and conclusion that uneducated people voted for Donald Trump. And the educated, not saying that being educated it means that they're better than somebody, but the more educated you are, it means that you're going to vote for a reasonable candidate, an educated decision. Those who voted for Donald Trump believed that everything was going to go great for them and he would punish the other people. But we're 3 months into this presidency, and now he's coming after everybody. And people on Fox News and at Republican town halls are saying, what about what's going to happen to my Social Security? What's going to happen to my SNAP benefits? What's going to happen to my contraceptives? What's going to happen to my people went to the booths in November of 2024 thinking about their interests. Ladies and gentlemen, this was not an election to say this is about me. This was an election, like I said, in October of 2024, all leading up to the election. This is an election that is going to sway America in either the right direction or the wrong direction. We are 3 months into Donald Trump's presidency, his second term. He told us exactly what he was going to do, and he's doing it. He's fulfilling that. People who voted for Donald Trump was like, yeah, he's going to do what he said he's going to do against them to make my America great. But when he said that he was going to take away SNAP benefits, who did you think he was going to touch? Majority of the people who benefit from SNAP benefits are working class white people in Oklahoma, in West Virginia, in Arkansas, Texas, Michigan, Illinois. The difference between going to the store and not going to the store is the ability to have these SNAP benefits, which Donald Trump and the Republican Party say they're going to take away from there. I'm sorry, guys. It is thundering and lightning outside. So if you guys hear it, I apologize. It is a huge storm outside. Um, that's what it feels like in Washington. It's a storm. People are coming in and messing up everything. Donald Trump also said, which people on Fox News and all my Republican, not Republican, but my Trump fans are going to say that, oh, he was just joking. He's not going to go for a third term. He said he was joking when he was going to run for president. He ran for president. He said he was joking when he was going to take away stuff. He's taking away stuff. Now he's saying that he's going to go run for a third term. In order for him to get a third term, in order for him to run again, he would have to somehow, some way, change the Constitution. He would have to amend the Constitution, which hasn't been done in years. You would have to change the Constitution. You would have to get 2/3 of the Senate, 2/3 of the House, and 2/3 of the states to ratify a change to the Constitution. So, in my eyes, an educated black man from the state of Michigan, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's just joking because by the time his term is up, he will be 82 years old. And people on his side of the aisle, the Republicans, the GOP, the Trumpers, the MAGAs, said that Joe Biden was too damn old at 82. Donald Trump will be 82 when he runs for a third term, quote unquote, hypothetically. So yeah, 2020, what was it? 2028 is gonna be wild. You heard it here first on the Kris versus Everybody podcast. The Trump administration also wanted to erase Black history. And I'm going to revisit what I said in earlier episodes. The why was the Department of Education created? The Department of Education was created to oversee and coordinate federal education policy and ensure equal access to education for all students. Before the Department of Education was created, education policy was scattered across multiple agencies, leading to inefficiencies and inconsistencies. The creation of the department allowed for better administration of federal funds for education, more targeted programs to support disadvantaged students, and to focus on addressing issues like educational inequality, standards, and performance. It also provided a centralized body to enforce education laws and promote educational reforms. So if Donald Trump takes away, let's go back to the 1970s when we didn't have a Department of Education, you're going to see a lot of inequality. You're going to see a lot of people from Massachusetts get a better education than those in Oklahoma. You're going to see a lot of people in suburban white schools get a better education than the Black urban kids. And yes, you're listening to the podcast and saying that's already happening right now. It's gonna get worse. Imagine a generation that doesn't even know multiplication by the time they're in middle school. Hell, a lot of kids don't even know algebra when they get into middle school or high school. And that's not just a federal problem. It's a school problem. It is a family problem. There's no reason why your kid can't read. There's no reason why your kid can't count. There's no reason why your kid can't do anything scientific or mathematical if you have all of the resources at your disposal. Now, I know some students don't have all the resources they need, but they do go to school, right? And we'll do that conversation on another podcast episode. But the Department of Education needs to stay. It doesn't need to be eradicated or erased. And Donald Trump tried to erase Black history from the record books, if anybody noticed. An executive order on ending radical indoctrination in K-12 schools um, it's crazy. He literally signed an executive order on ending radical indoctrination in K-12 schools. How is teaching about Black history radical? How is teaching about anything that happened in this country radical? Because 40 years from now, we're going to be talking about this presidency, the truth about the presidency. Is that radical? Is it radical that he ran for president just so he could escape prison? Really? Ending radical indoctrination in K to 12 schooling. And that was in 2025 when he first got into office. This order mandated that schools receiving federal funds cease DEI programs, including those focused on race-based student clubs and teachings about Black history. The administration claims such initiatives promoted divisive ideologies. And they were given 2 weeks. They were given a 2-week ultimatum to eliminate these programs or risk federal funding. They also removed DEI content. I want to say DEI, but they removed Black content from the military websites, including Colin Powell, Jackie Robinson, and the Tuskegee Airmen, to name a few. And it prompted concerns, especially for me as a Black man, about erasing significant aspects of Black history in the military. Like Jackie Robinson's Jackie Robinson in the military is a key story. Is a great story. Colin Powell, one of the best people of this country. The Tuskegee Airmen. Like these are like focal points of history. And Donald Trump and the administration that he appointed want to eradicate the history, the checkpoints, the stuff that inspire the young generation after it. Like he said he was going to do this. He said he was going to do this. And he did it. And people noticed and they said, yo, Donald Trump, what are you doing? Put that back up there. Especially someone as good as Colin Powell. Like Colin Powell is up there with George Washington when it comes to military experience. And you're not going to put him up there. You're not going to put the Tuskegee Airmen up on the what? You're going to take that down? Yeah, 2026. It's going to be a change. 2026 is the midterm election, so please vote in 2026. Please vote in 2026. vote in your local elections, vote for your school board elections, vote for your mayor elections, your governors, your senators, your representatives, and the president of the United States. Please vote. Now, we're going to end the show talking about the mishandling of classified information. Now, mishandling information is a violation of the Espionage Act of 1917. This law was originally intended to prevent the disclosure of national defense information that could harm the U.S. or benefit foreign nations. Now, this is how the Espionage Act applies to mishandling classified information. Keeping or sharing classified materials without proper clearance or need to know can lead to prosecution. Check. Gross negligence. Even if there's no intent to harm the U.S., careless handling, such as the improper storage or sending documents via unsecured means, can be a crime. Check. Willful disclosure to unauthorized persons. Sharing classified information with someone without proper clearance is a serious violation. Check. The loss or theft of classified material. If someone allows classified information to be stolen, it can result in legal consequences. Now, why am I talking about all these checks? Because it's nuts how a group of people on one side of the aisle, which I will name everybody in a second, who is responsible for the mishandling of this information. It's crazy how one side of the aisle can say, oh snap, my bad, but it's okay. But the when it's the other side of the aisle doing it, the other side will say, hey, you can't be president of the United States and you're a criminal. You should be put in jail, this, that, and a third. Now, before I get into what really happened and the details and the facts, penalties for violating the Espionage Act include fines and prison time. Violations can result in up to 10 years in prison per offense and substantial fines. Loss of security clearance and employment. Those found guilty may lose governmental jobs and contracts. Potential treason charges also. If classified information is given to foreign adversaries, the case could escalate to a treason case, which is punishable by life in prison or even death in extreme cases. So, so Hillary Clinton, because we're going to go there. We're going to start there first. Hillary Clinton used a private email account, which was hosted on a private server in her home, instead of using a government used and government issued email account. This was unusual because federal law mandates that the government communications be archived for transparency and accountability, which is good for a government who wants to say, hey, you're serving the country. You should be able to serve the country with integrity. And that's what they did when they say, hey, use the government server for government business, not your private server. She mistakenly used her private server to send emails, okay? And it raised concerns over mishandling classified information, okay? So fast forward to July of 2016 when she was running for president. The FBI concluded that Clinton and her team had been extremely careless. That is something that everybody agrees that it was careless for her to do that. However, based on what was sent and what was discovered from her account and what was sent and what was, received on her private server, for quote unquote government business, they did not find any sufficient evidence to bring criminal charges. Okay. There was no intentional wrongdoing with what she was doing on the government for government purposes on her private server. Okay. Now, the timing of the announcement was seen as politically damaging to Clinton's campaign, which it was, because all you heard was Donald Trump and Fox News saying, "What about the emails? She's espionage. She's trading the country. Do we really want this? She's a woman. Blah blah blah." And it cost her the presidency in some cases. If she didn't have that case against her and Donald Trump bringing up emails all the time, we would have had Hillary Clinton as president. But it's embarrassment after embarrassment after embarrassment by this circus, aka the Trump administration of 2017 to 2021, and now the current one from 2025 to whenever it's finished. Like, this circus is giving the Universal Circus a run for its money because every damn day there's something stupid that this man has done. Private conversations from top Trump administration officials as they weighed on plans for U.S. strikes on the Houthis in Yemen. Now, the Houthis are a group of let's just for a just for simpler terms, they're pirates basically. The little Robin Hoods going around stealing stuff, stopping the supply and demand of U.S. or any type of ships coming through the Red Sea or the Arabian Sea or Indian Sea in this case. Now, America and CIA officials have concluded that, hey, here are where the Houthis are, here are where they're staying, here's the headquarters. Now, the United States wanted to attack that. They've been wanting to do it in Trump's first administration. They did it during Biden's administration, and now they're doing it once again in Trump's second term. But this time, they used a group chat app to talk to each other about key checkpoints, key things about how they're going to strike the Houthis in Yemen. Now, I'm going to say all the names of the people in this group chat. Now, excuse me while I drink some water real quick, because I want to say their names clearly because I don't want to mess up anybody's name. Now, we're going to start at the top. We have Vice President J.D. Vance. We have National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, CIA Director John Radcliffe, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, and the White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. Now let's go back to the checkpoints. Keeping or sharing classified materials without proper clearance or need to know can lead to prosecution. Eh, they can fight that one, but they still did it. Gross negligence. Even though there's no intent to harm the U.S., careless handling, um, such as improper storage of sending documents via unsecured means, can be a crime. Yep, that is a checkpoint. That's 100%. Willful disclosure, willful disclosure to unauthorized persons, which is sharing classified information with someone without proper clearance, is a violation. Now, they also had a reporter in the group chat. Now, I'm not going to say his name, but you can find him on the story on other news outlets. But there was someone from the press in this group chat. So this is definitely willful disclosure to unauthorized persons, which is a serious violation of the, Espionage Act. So all I want at the end of this podcast, all I want for people to know from me is that I just want consistency. Can we have consistency? Y'all did it against Hillary Clinton, and that cost her the presidency. Now, all of these names that I just named, these were literally all handpicked by Donald J. Trump. And guess what, MAGA? He's the commander in chief. Nothing goes on in Yemen against the Houthis without Donald Trump's approval. So I'm going to say his name one more time to add to the list. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, willfully disclosed on an unauthorized group chat military actions, military formations, military agendas against the Houthis in Yemen. So they can do this on a group chat app. What other secrets, what other plans, what other top secret American, like top secret American security plans do are we just giving away to Russia, China, North Korea, Iran? Like, what are we doing? 3 months in, guys. 3 months in. And that's all I got to say on this podcast. Thank you for listening. Please go to www.KrisCrossCorner.com. Get your Black Excellence shirts. Get your Detroit Strikes back shirts. We are getting ready for the summer. We will be having new merch. It will be up on the website soon. Please go to KrisCross Studios Facebook group. Join the group. Be part of the conversation 24/7. Also, give me topics to talk about for all my other shows, including KrisCross Corner, Great Debaters, Top 5, and Kris and Kris. And that has been another episode of Kris versus Everybody. See you guys next week. Holla.